Well, here we go again. What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. New video. Yesterday I did a video. I did a video on Damion Porter and his response to Tony, aka Cartoon from 5 Trey Avalon, right? And in my response video, I made some statements. One of the first statements I made was I didn't watch the whole video. I had to turn it off. Today, Damion made a response. And people in the comments were already telling me, oh, you should have watched the whole video. And you know what? You guys are right. Damion, you're right. See, as a man, if you say something or do something and you did something out of context, especially, and you were wrong, then you should say that. And so my apologies to Damion. Again, me and Damion go way back. And in my video, I didn't slander the dude. I never would. Now, in the past, I said some stuff in anger because I considered him a friend. And I felt like I was purposely being misportrayed, but that's in the past. It is what it is. Like I said, I wish this dude the best, man. We were kids a long time ago, tearing shit up in the California Youth Authority. We went to the CDC. We tore shit up. But you know what? We're out here now. We're sharing our life experiences and hopefully getting you guys to see a better way of living, period. I think we both want that for you guys, right? Now, I'm going to play the clip, okay? I cut a piece out. I look back and I believe it was, I still have it on my screen. I made it to about 4 minutes and 30 something seconds in. That's where I stopped the video. And let me tell you this right now. I saw his response video and I watched probably the same amount. And you know why? Because when Damion said in his video that he didn't say what I said he said, I take his word for it. I don't need to hear nothing else. You know, and that goes to like to the old saying where never explain. Your friends don't need it and your enemies won't believe you anyways. All the drama that goes on with my name attached to it on YouTube, Damion has never tried to capitalize on it. So I'll be damned if I'm going to have people thinking that I'm trying to capitalize off of that man and slandering that man to make content and make money. It's not going to happen. Nope. Now, like I said, let me play this clip right here. This is the important part to me and where I stopped it. I guess I don't know how much longer I needed to go, but check this clip out.
Well, let me tell you, 50-50 equals 100. 50 plus 50 is 100. 100% bad. You didn't know, now you know. A 50-50 yard is no good. A 50-50 yard is PC. Now, yes, there's a difference between going to a 50-50 yard because you just want to go home and you haven't done anything wrong. These prisons are full of these 50-50 yards now. And these individuals are getting off the bus and going over there because they just want to go home. They don't want to go to this main line. The general population with these heavy politics have to stab someone, get stabbed for whatever reason. They haven't done anything wrong. They're not a snitch. They're not a chomo. You know, it's like not to bring Jay Hood up again, but just to try to, bring you the difference. But of the two, if Jap went to a 50-50 yard, he went voluntarily. Because, hey, I want to go home. I ain't finna go over here with all these dudes, the homies, whatever, politicking. I'm going to 50-50 yard so I can go home. As opposed to, man, some individuals accusing you of snitching and they remove you from the yard, beat you up as a bloody removal, and you got to go to a PC yard, you got to go to 50-50 yard because of something that you did, some infraction, one infraction or another. Voluntarily going over there, hey man, send me over there just so I ain't got to. That is different.
Okay, so you see where Damion said 50-50 equals 100% PC, right? That's not true. A PC yard is a yard full of nothing but PCs. A 50-50 yard, you can actually see, I don't know if Damon's aware of this. I don't know if everybody's aware of this. They used to pick, the CDC used to handpick dudes, certain dudes that they wanted to eliminate somehow, some way. Whether it's you go there and you wind up getting shot by a cop and no longer living, or you go over there and you would get validated and they throw you up in the dungeon for the rest of your prison term. But they would handpick certain convicts knowing this dude, he's not going to stay there. They didn't care that they were throwing their PCs to the wolves by sending a fucking lion around a bunch of sheep. They didn't care about that because they had one thing in mind. This dude needs to be off the main line. He's not slipping. We can't catch him. Let's set him up. They couldn't send him to a real PC yard. Just like they can't send any active convicts to any righteously PC yard. No. 50-50 yard is a yard where people aren't really pushing the hardline politics. You could get kicked at, well, the shoe doesn't exist no more, but let me speak for you could get sent from the hole. You could have just smoked somebody on a yard. They let you out the hole and they can send you to a 50-50 yard again to set you up. So it's not, 50-50s have never been 100% PC. That's why for the Southerners and the whites and the Northerners, they've gone there and they've done this. And you know, and that's another thing. You know, my message wasn't conveyed correctly. My message wasn't to contradict Damion or anyone else. My message was more that social media has made an impact on how people are doing time. Really? How the blacks are doing time. I believe that. For Mexicans and whites, Mexican and white convicts in the California Department of Corrections, their politics have designated certain yards 50-50 for over 40 years. Facts. Over 40 years. There's been specific yards for those groups that if you hit there, you got a certain amount of time to get off, or you know what? You might as well just stay there because you're going to get whacked. That's what I was trying to convey, that now it's a new thing with the blacks, where there have been blacks that have been on yards in the past where Southerners, Northerners, and whites couldn't be there. The black politics had no bearing on anyone else, just like anyone else's politics had no bearing on them, right? And that's what I was trying to get at. I didn't convey it right. Something else that was confusing to me was, and I kind of touched on it in my video, when I would have to interact with the different black groups, different black factions, when something was going on the yard, I had to talk to a bunch of different people. Why? Because there's not one group that speaks for all blacks. And when we're talking about, and I keep looking over here because I have Damion and Cartoon on the screen right now on my computer. When we're talking about 4 Extra and Crip Mac are neighborhood Crips, Jab 5 is a Hoover. To me, it's mind-blowing that neighborhoods are trying to say what is and isn't with a Hoover. And I don't think I've hit it. You know, hey, shout out to everybody. I had a lot of respect for Crips and Bloods, but Hoovers always moved different. I was always cool. It seemed like I was always cooler with dudes from Hoover, right? So to me, it was just like, I don't understand. I don't, and I'm not even going to go there. I don't understand how all the blacks got on the same page when it's so hard for them to agree with each other. They bump heads a lot, you know? But again, I apologize to Damion. because it's right. I didn't watch the whole video. And if he said that if you go to 50-50 and you parole from there, then you're not a rat, you're not, obviously they didn't cooperate with nothing, right? But they're no longer a member of their neighborhood. I even there, I don't see how anybody from outside of somebody's neighborhood could say that. That's one thing that I trip on. There's so many of us that have gone to prison, and we see people get dirty politics. They're not a rat, definitely ain't a punk, and they didn't cooperate, but they bumped heads with somebody and they lost, and they wound up on a different yard, a 50-50 or a S&Y yard, right? Still never cooperated, never, nothing. People from outside of that individual's neighborhood have no right to tell that neighborhood, hey, Holmes, your homeboy's no good. He got into some shit in the joint. He was no good in the joint. But I'm sure he's not going to get out and start gangbanging, right? And I'm not going to get into that whole can of worms. It's just, I was speaking from my life experience in regards to prison. And when I heard the part that I played for you, and I just stopped it because I was like, my understanding, my reality is different from what Damion's talking about, right? And people should also know that, for a long time, blacks, because they didn't push that 50-50 politic, right? They were able to do their time and go home. Southerners, Northerners, whites, they were catching life sentences. I personally have a friend of mine. He had a date. He wound up on C Yard in New Folsom at a time when there was a curfew. That yard, that curfew lifted in 2000. He got there before 2000. He whacked somebody. He was going back and forth for court for years. Got a life sentence finally. And right after he got the life sentence, they lifted the curfew on the yard. And I remember being on the Adseg yard at the time. And the wheel was red. The kite was red. To all the homies on the yard, hey, look, this is what they're saying. Whoop, whoop. And I remember my friend looking at me like, damn. I just caught an L on that yard. And now I could have kicked it. So the blacks pushing that 50-50 yard politic, as a civilian, as a productive member of society, my mind looks at it like, damn, I feel for them dudes. Because now they're going to have to do things that everyone else was doing, and they're going to have to catch them life sentences. They're going to have to catch another 5 years, 10 years, whatever it is. From a convict's state of mind, a convict's point of view, I guarantee you a lot of convicts are like, good. Good. Now they're going to help alleviate the bullshit and push the trash out. I get it, right? But anyways, I don't want to go on and on about this. I just wanted to make sure that I gave Damion what he had coming. And I gave his subscribers what they wanted. Because it's right. Believe me, if I disagreed, and like I said, if he said he didn't say that, I'm not going to keep going with it. For what? And like a lot of these dudes that want to see me and Damion beef, or me and anybody beef, I actually know Damion. He's a good dude. That's my video for today, man. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Everybody, please be safe, be smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them, man. I'm out of here.